Hi, welcome to Knit with Hannah. I'm Hannah. Today we are going to finish your four-finger finger knitting with a flat cast off. Hi, welcome to Knit with Hannah. I'm Hannah. I'm here with Knitting Natter to help you learn to knit the easy way. We are casting off our four-finger finger knitting today, and we want to give it a flat top. So that unlike when we cast off with a two finger, it was more of a point, we are going to do a flat top, and it's very similar to how you would cast off when you're knitting with your needles. If you're new here, do subscribe and click on the little bell so that when I release more finger knitting videos, and there will be more in the future, then you'll have them very easily and readily. YouTube will notify you when those new videos appear. Right, let's get to it. Let's start casting off our finger knitting. Doing a flat cast off is sometimes preferred if you're doing a four-finger knitting, because then you have a flat end to it and it's not all joined together like the cast off that I showed you with the two-finger knitting. So I'm going to show you an option here. So if you want to do flat knitting, you have to think about it as if you're knitting with the needles. And when you're knitting with the needles, you have two stitches on the needle and you move one over the other. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to move the ring finger stitch over to the little finger and cast off with that one. That's the first cast off stitch. I'll move that back to the ring finger to make the next piece easier. So the middle finger stitch then moves over to the ring, and the ring finger stitch goes over. I'm now going to move that back to the middle finger, and the index finger stitch goes over to the middle, and we cast off there. That's easy peasy, and that is replicating exactly what we do when we're casting off with needles. I'm now going to cut this thread, and we do exactly what we do with needles. We move that thread through that last stitch to just hold it tight. There we go. We have a flat cast off, which is really useful sometimes if you want to knit something larger and you just want a flat end to it. Maybe you want to put a little bit of fringe on the end of a scarf. You can do that now because you've got four stitches sitting there cast off. Great, you're all cast off, it's not going to unravel, everything's going hunky-dory. Now, I do have a couple of ideas for you. What would you like to make with your four-finger knitting? Well, first of all, this is the kind of thing that I would love. This is a very long strand of finger knitting, and basically I've just wrapped it lots of times around my neck, and it feels, yes, I could wear that as a necklace, but it's also ideal for the winter when just don't quite need something quite so cozy as a really thick cowl. This is going to keep me warmer than just going out with my coat on, so it's going to cover me up right near the top. It's actually really nice and warm. You can also make something like this so that it sits around your neck very similarly to the one I showed you last week. It's just a bit thicker, so there's a bit more weight to it, a bit more bulk to it. The other options could be bracelets, hairbands, all sorts of things. I will link to my Pinterest board in the description below, so you can just have a look, be inspired, think about lots of different ideas. It's an ideal hobby just for having a bit of a play, using up your yarn stash, because sometimes there is just yarn sitting in your yarn stash and you don't know what to do with it. So have some fun with it, do some finger knitting, and just, like I said, go through that Pinterest board and see what you can find that you feel inspired by knitting and creating yourself. Right, I will see you again next week. We're back to knitting with needles next week, so I hope you'll join me for that. I will see you again soon. Bye for now. Happy knitting.